understand. This is the era we're taking back. Retro revival, it's all coming back. Boombox beats and a VHS track.
What's up, you retro trash pandas, and welcome back. Let's go back to the school playgrounds and the lunchrooms of the early 90s. There, a battle was being waged. A conflict so fierce that it divided friendships and dominated every conversation. And it all came down to one simple, soul-defining question: Sega or Nintendo?
No, tu sapete. No.
Pasa el pallone.
This wasn't just about video games. This was a choice of identity. Were you drawn to the polished, magical kingdoms of Nintendo, or the edgy, lightning-fast attitude of Sega? This was the console war that defined our generation. It was a clash of titans, a battle of mascots, and a marketing blitz that changed gaming forever. Today we're diving into the trenches of the 16-bit war. We'll look at a scrappy arcade company who took on a giant, how two legendary consoles battled for control of our living rooms, and we'll finally try to answer the question: who actually won? To understand the war, you had to understand the landscape. By 1990, Nintendo wasn't just a gaming company. They were gaming. The NES had single-handedly resurrected the industry from the crash of '83. Mario was more recognized than Mickey Mouse. Nintendo had an iron grip on the market with over 90% control. They were the undisputed family-friendly king. But in the neon-soaked arcades, a challenger was waiting. Sega was the king of arcades with hits like Outrun and Space Harrier. They had previously tried to compete with Nintendo with the Master System, but that was a complete and utter failure.
Sega challenges you with the ultimate video game, the Sega Master System.
Hang on.
With more accurate control, more detailed graphics, more levels of play.
Awesome.
The Sega Master System comes with power-based 2 control pads, light phaser, and 2 great video games: Hang On and Safari Hunt.
Gotcha.
And with other games like Rambo, Outrun, and Choplifter, the excitement never stops. The Sega Master System. The challenge will always be there.
Sega was the underdog, and they were hungry. They knew they couldn't compete with Nintendo by playing the same game. They needed to change the rules. In 1989, Sega launched the first shot, the Sega Genesis. This thing was a beast. It was a true 16-bit system that promised arcade quality graphics at home. It was sleek, it was black, and it was powerful. Sega had built the weapon. Now they just needed an army. Sega of America, led by the marketing genius of Tom Kalinske, launched a marketing campaign like nothing the industry had ever seen. They knew they couldn't out-family-friendly the king, so they went the other direction. They went for attitude.
Genesis does.
16-bit sports strategy.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does.
16-bit sports moves.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis. Genesis. So Genesis does.
What Nintendo?
Their new slogan was a direct shot. They targeted teenagers and college kids and officially labeled Nintendo a system for babies. And to lead this charge, they needed a hero. Mario was slow, methodical, and safe. So, Sega created his opposite. A blue hedgehog with supersonic speed and a rebellious attitude. Sonic was the embodiment of Sega's entire strategy. Faster, cooler, and edgier than the competition. The Sonic vs. Mario debate wasn't just about gameplay. It was a culture war. Nintendo eventually responded in 1991 with the launch of the Super Nintendo. It might have had a slower processor, but it boasted more colors on screen, a revolutionary sound chip, and the mind-blowing Mode 7 graphics that allowed for scaling and rotation and gave us games such as F-Zero and Super Mario Kart. The battle lines were drawn, Sega's raw speed versus Nintendo's technical polish. But the defining moment of this war came in 1992 with the release of Mortal Kombat. Amid a national controversy over video game violence, Nintendo made a choice. Their SNES version was censored, replacing the iconic red blood with gray sweat. Sega made a different call. Their version had all the gore, accessible with the legendary ABACABB blood code. It was a genius move. Overnight, the Genesis was cemented as the mature console, and the SNES was labeled for kids. Sega's sales exploded. For the first time, the king was bleeding. So, who actually won? If you ask someone who actually lived through it, especially in North America, they might say Sega won. For several years straight, thanks to Sonic, sports games like Madden, and the Mortal Kombat decision, Sega was the top-selling console. Sega did the impossible. They dethroned the king. But if you look at worldwide lifetime sales, that story changes. Nintendo, with its massive brand power and its late game additions like Donkey Kong Country, fought back. By the end of the generation, Nintendo had outsold Sega's Genesis, with roughly 49 million units compared to Sega's 30 million units. So on paper, Nintendo won. But I think that's the boring answer. The real winner of the 16-bit console war was us, the players. This brutal competition forced both companies to be at their best. It pushed innovation. It created legendary games. It lowered cost, and it gave us, the player, the ultimate power of choice. Sega's rebellion forced Nintendo to grow up. Nintendo's absolute quality forced Sega to get creative. They made each other better. This war also set everything that was to come. Sega, in their attempt to prolong the Genesis's life, made a series of fatal hardware mistakes with the Sega CD and the Sega 32X. And Nintendo, in a fateful decision, would betray a partnership with a little company called Sony, who may have went on to make a system called the PlayStation, but that's a story for another time. The 16-bit war was more than a battle for market share. It was the crucible that forged the game industry. It gave us attitude, it gave us masterpieces, and it gave us memories that are as vivid today as they were 30 years ago. It was a golden age, and we were lucky to live it. Now, it's time to settle it. In the Great War of the 90s, where were your allegiances? Were you Team Sega or Team Nintendo? And what was that one game that sealed the deal for you? Let me know in the comments section below. If you love deep dives into gaming history, be sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got a whole season of retro goodness coming your way. And don't forget, you can follow me over on TikTok for regular retro hits, behind the scene footage of rebuilding this retro room, and a whole lot more. The link is always in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.